Just want to come on and share a few verses out of Luke. We'll go to Mark later. Luke chapter 6, 41 to 43, and then we'll skip down for time's sake to 45, verse 45. 41 says this, And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but perceiveth not the beam that is in thine own eye? Either how canst thou say to thy brother, Brother, let me pull out the mote that is in thine eye, when thou thyself beholdest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, cast out first the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to pull out the mote that's in thy brother's eye. Verse 45 reads like this. 43 and 44 basically says about the fruit of the tree. 45 says this, A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil. For out of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh. And then Christ goes on to say, And why call ye me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say? So Christ is telling you what to do. Because there's many people on that day will go, Lord, Lord, did I not do this? Did I not do that? Did I not do the other? And the Lord's going to say, I never knew you. Oh, what an awful thought that would be. To be serving Christ all the days of your life, thinking that you're serving the Lord, and the Lord says, I didn't know you. But 6 and 41, Why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but perceiveth not the beam that is in thine own eye? That word mote can mean a speck of dust, or a twig, or a piece of straw, something really tiny, a little bit of dust. So you're looking at your brother, and you're pointing out his little fault, when you have got a beam, a piece of wood, basically, a stick, piece of wood stuck out of your own eye. Verse 42, Either how canst thou say to thy brother, Let me pull out the mote that is in thine eye, when thou thyself beholdest not the beam that is in thine own eye? What does Christ say? Thou hypocrite! Thou hypocrite, cast out first the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou pull clearly to pull out the mote that is in thy brother's eye. There's Christians, and they're pointing the finger at other Christians, and they're saying this and they're saying that, when they've got a beam in their own eye. That's what Christ is saying here. It's quite simply this. The Bible tells us to work out your own salvation with fear and with trembling. Work out your own salvation. 45, verse 45, A good man out of his good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil. For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. So there you go. You're speaking evil from your heart against another brother, because out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. The psalmist says, Who shall ascend unto the hill of the Lord, but those with clean hands and a pure heart? Oh, to strive for that pure heart, who's not lifted their soul unto idols. So we're going to go and look at the heart here for a wee minute in Mark chapter 7, verses 20 to 23 to get the context. And he said, Jesus speaking again, That which cometh out of a man, that defileth the man. For from within, out of the heart of man, proceed evil thoughts. So the thoughts of man come from the heart first. That's where it all starts. It doesn't start from the mind. It starts from the heart to the mind. From within, out of the heart of man, proceed evil thoughts. So it's first in your heart, and then it's in your thought life. Adulteries, fornications, murder. No wonder Jesus said, if you've done it in your heart, you've murdered the person. If you've spoke evil in your heart. 22, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lavishness, which is sexual sins, an evil eye. An evil eye, we'll look at that later. Blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man. So just for time's sake, we're going to look at the evil eye and pride. Barclay says this in his commentary: envy is literally the evil eye, the eye that looks on the success and happiness of others, of another person even, and in such a way that it would cast an evil spell upon them. An evil eye. So basically you're casting a spell upon someone else. Where is it coming from? Your heart. The next word is blasphemia. It's blasphemy. We'll look at that briefly. Yes, blasphemy here means slander. When it's used against God, it means blasphemy. It means insulting man or God. So we'll look at pride here. There then follows pride. The Greek word literally means showing oneself above another. So pride is basically thinking you're better than another. But the interesting part, Barclay says in this, quoting Barclay here, the interesting thing about the word pride, as the Greeks used it, is that it describes an attitude that may never become public. It may be that in his heart of hearts, a man is always secretly comparing himself with others. Pride in the heart. He can look good on the outside, but his heart is stinking because of pride. He might even opt humility and yet in his heart be proud. Sometimes, of course, the pride is evident. The Greeks had a legend of this pride. They said that the giants, the sons of Tartarus and Ge, in their pride sought to storm heaven and were cast down by Hercules. That is hyperhenia. I think I've said that right. It is setting oneself up against God. It is invading God's prerogatives. That is why it has been called the peak of all the vices, and why God opposes the proud. So we're going to finish off. God opposes the proud here in James 4 verse 6. James 4 says this, verse 6, and we'll finish off here. But he giveth more grace, wherein he saith, God resisted the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. Be humble today. Don't be proudful. Don't be boastful. Don't be pointing out other Christians, born again, blood bought Christians, their faults. Don't be trying to take the speck. A speck? Come on, a bit of dust out of their eye when you've got a plank in your own. James 4 6, I'll say it again. But he giveth more grace, wherefore he saith, God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. Be humble today. Be gracious with your brother in Christ, and God will give you grace. He'll give you grace. He's already give you grace. Amazing grace. How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. God bless you.